There was a man laying on the floor, and your police officers beat the out of him and killed him. I have it all on video camera.
But the Kern County Sheriff's Department took the unusual step of confiscating that video and at least one other cell phone video as evidence within hours of the incident. The sheriff says he wants to look at all the evidence objectively.
For us not to go get videos that are evidence, we wouldn't be doing a very good investigation.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sheriffs. The guy was laying on the floor, and 8 sheriffs ran up and started beating him up with sticks. The man is dead, laying right here, right now.
That man was 33-year-old David Silva. His family wants to know exactly what happened.
The videos are certainly the best evidence of the last moment of their son's life.
And they may prove whether or not the police overstepped their power, as some witnesses believe. In this surveillance video, the baton can be seen passing through the light several times.
It was devastating to see the cops out there, like, brutally beating this guy in the head.
This witness didn't want to show his face on camera for fear of retaliation by law enforcement.
Because we woke up to him screaming.
What did you hear the man on the ground screaming? What was he saying? Do you remember?
He was asking for help. He was screaming with pain, and he asked for help. He only got to ask for help like 3 times, and after that, I'm pretty sure he didn't recall like nothing, like, cause those hits were brutal, you know.
How many times did you see him get hit?
Honestly, I say about 7 before he dropped to the ground, and then they all proceed to get on him.
CNN obtained this surveillance video from the family's lawyer. It's difficult to tell what's happening, and that's why Cone is working to see that the cell phone evidence is preserved and that law enforcement is held accountable.
The only way they know how to deal with it is to essentially confiscate cell phones, and they'll deal with the constitutional issues down the line. This man was anything but a violent person. He was a very loving person, and the fact that he was brutally assaulted by these officers under color of law is what is most disturbing to his family.
Stephanie Elam, CNN, Bakersfield, California.
Niggas catch me out here sipping on this motherfucking Arizona and shit, you know what I'm saying? Just kicking it, waiting for my nigga Moore to come through. Shoot this TTT
I thought
shit.
Moore just came pulled up.
Oh yeah.
He was right behind him.
That wasn't him?
But that was him.
Word. Get Cuzzo out. Hey, sir. Huh? Drink. What's wrong with you? You got alcohol in there? No, I ain't got no alcohol in there. You see this is a sweet tea, pink lemonade. Just make sure. Who is you? Police. Okay. You see what I'm drinking? Let me look at it. You is looking at it. I'm not breaking no laws.
Yeah, that's an invasion of privacy, but I got it on camera.
You don't gotta touch me.
Read the ingredients.
Read it. Ingredients. Look and see what it is.
I want to do it. You ain't got to show him.
Go to the gas station and see what it is.
First of all, he's an off copy. You don't even know if he's really a cop.
He ain't show me no identification for no reason.
Leave the property. You got 5 seconds to leave. I can see that.
For what?
Yeah, for what though? What's the crime?
We got the camera.
What's the crime?
Leave the property.
He's a civilian as a customer.
Why not? For what? I ain't breaking no laws.
No, I'm in here 12 music. Wild shot down south side. I'm telling you, I'm day 20. I don't know who these guys are, but I'm saying they're bad. If you got one, you don't
Where your badge number at?
We need some
We got the
VJ.
camera. Where your badge number at?
Hey, 26 in. Bed now. You got 5 seconds left. Put your hands up against the car. Put your hands up against the car now.
I'm not touching you, man.
Put your hands up against the car now.
I'm not doing nothing, man.
Sir?
Yo.
Put your hands up against the car. You're under arrest.
Yo, for what? I'm about to go. Yo, you want to drink this? For what? I ain't doing doing that.
Because I said you trespassing.
I'm about to get, yo. Yo, what? What? For what? For what? For
Resist delay obstruct.
For what?
Put your hands behind your back, sir.
For what, though?
Put your hands behind your back now.
For what?
Put your hands behind your back.
And this is an Arizona iced tea. I want everybody to see this.
Yo, he can drink the contest.
Half and half Arizona iced tea.
Trespassing, sir.
For what? I'm about to go in the store.
Put your left hand behind your back.
How am I trespassing?
Put your left hand behind your back.
I got it all on camera. He locked this man up for nothing, fam. For nothing. He ain't do nothing. He thought that was the alcohol, so he didn't do nothing wrong. He ain't do nothing wrong. But he didn't do nothing wrong to leave the property. As a civilian, he has a right to purchase something as a customer if he didn't break a crime. You asked him to leave based on the assumption that that was alcohol, but you were wrong. So he didn't commit no crime. Yo, a lawyer gonna eat this up. Who? What did I do?
Who are you? My investigation. Leave the property now.
I tell you what, I'ma leave. I ain't about to go get locked up. I don't live out here. But my lawyer will be eating this up. My lawyer gonna eat this shit up. I'm leaving. You see me leaving. I could talk, but I'm leaving. All right, I could talk, motherfucker. Freedom of speech. Faggot.
But I thought that nigga was like filming the joint.
You thought it was a game, right? Like
yeah, I thought that nigga was filming the joint.
He played the shit out of X, son. Word of mother. He played the shit out of that man, son. He tried to act like the fucking Arizona iced tea was a alcoholic beverage.
Yeah.
Did you saw the whole shit?
I got up because I thought that nigga was filming and I saw you. I'm like, yo, he was filming. You was making him tighter. You making him tighter? Wow. Keep recording. Not loose at all.
His name's Officer Clark. I can't hear you. What's his name, sir? God, can I watch that video up now?
This is lunatic. This was
Where's
all
your
on
ID, sir?
film. Don't worry. This is all on film.
Yeah.
This is all on film.
I'm doing nothing wrong.
Sorry, do me a favor. Where's your ID?
My ID is in my pocket. I'm not
Okay.
removing it.
Do me a favor. Come over here.
No,
please.
absolutely
Come over
not.
here, sir.
Absolutely not. Take your hands
Kyle.
She has no right.
So you're being detained by police right now, okay? It's not a request. You're being detained by police. Stand right here.
For what?
Is he under arrest? Detained by police, okay?
Is he under arrest?
Why is he being detained?
Why is he being detained?
No, Kyle.
My name's Kyle. Why?
You're not cooperating with me. I'm asking you to put your hands
Can I get this from him, please?
He did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong.
I'm staying with Kyle.
Yeah, this is why.
Why are you arresting someone for doing nothing wrong? How should we trust you?
For standing in a fucking subway!
If I get raped, how do I trust you people? How do I trust you? I will never call you if I'm in trouble. He did nothing wrong. You are doing this illegally.
Look at this. Look at this. 4 cops. 4 cops.
Being patted down like
This is illegal.
I do not consent to a search! I do not consent to a search! I do not consent to a search!
Why the fucking police state? It's a fucking joke.
I do not consent to a search! I do not consent to a search! I do not consent to a search!
Excuse me, sir. This is a fire hazard. You're blocking people from getting out of the tunnel right now.
Yes, ma'am.
I have video of him
I'm out.
getting
I'm out.
up. I have video of him. And there will be a camera.
officer. She doesn't trust him. She doesn't trust the honor. Then don't talk to her. She doesn't.
Wait a minute.
Anybody?
You good?
Sir?
I'm off the yellow line. I'm not doing anything wrong. I would
Record it. Record it.
Back up against the wall. So your skateboard
Under what circumstances?
I told you to get out of the way from the yellow line.
And I am. I'm not on the yellow line. Nothing about me is crossing the yellow line.
Does that...
ID, sir?
Are you serious?
Right?
Are you? Oh my god.
You have no right to be asking me about. You're detained. My name is Kyle.
You picked the wrong day to do this.
His name's Officer Kyle.
I can't hear you. What's your name, sir?
This is lunatic.
This is lunatic. This was all on film. Don't worry. This was all on film.
Yeah.
This is all on film.
I'm doing nothing wrong.
Where's your ID?
My ID is in my pocket. I'm not removing it. No.
You don't.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Take your hands off.
She
me
has
and
no
my
right,
personal
Kyle.
property.
She has no right.
You're being detained by police right now, okay? It's not a request. You're being detained by police. Stand right here.
For what did he do? Why is he being detained? Why is he being detained?
My name's Kyle. Why? I'm not going to use it as a fucking weapon. I got it. Why?
Because you're not cooperating with me, I'm asking you to put your hands behind your back.
He didn't do anything wrong. He did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah, this is why.
Why are you arresting someone for doing nothing wrong? How should we trust you?
For standing in a fucking subway.
If I get raped, how do I trust you people? How do I trust you? I will never call you if I'm in trouble. He did nothing wrong. You are doing this illegally. Why are you doing this to him? This is illegal. This is illegal. This is a fucking police state. They cannot do this to people. Fight the fucking police state. This is a joke. This is a fucking joke. They have a U.S. Marine veteran in the Federal Detention Center for holding a microphone. A microphone. And they're arresting him for standing up for that man.
Be quiet. Calm down. Calm down.
Calm down.
Basically,
Listen, Ellie, stop. Stop.
What was that? You don't have to stop at a stop sign if you don't want to? Is that what you said? Oh, you don't want to say it now because you're in the truck? Come on, animal control enforcement. You don't have to stop at a stop sign if you don't have to? If you don't want to? Are you going to answer the question? I'll get you when you come back. Tell me about that stopping at a stop sign again. Do you have to stop at a stop sign?
Listen, put the phone down.
No.
Put the phone down.
No.
Sir. Put the phone down.
No, it's perfectly legal to videotape.
No, it's not. It's illegal.
It is perfectly
No,
legal.
no, it's
You're a
not.
public officer. It's perfectly legal. I know my rights as a U.S. citizen.
Listen,
it's perfectly
To
legal.
tell you the truth, I really don't care.
Yeah, I know. Do you have to stop at a stop sign?
Yes, I do. I gotta stop.
Oh, but I thought you didn't have to if you didn't want to.
So I have to stop.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. You talk a lot of game when you don't have a video camera on you. I know my rights.
Yeah, you know your rights.
Yeah, I do. I know my rights.
Yeah, like you pay for taxes too.
Yep, I pay for your job. That's right.
Yeah, you probably late too.
I'm probably late for McDonald's. That's where I'm going.
Now to a CBS 4 News exclusive. You could call him the Teflon Cop. He's an Opelika officer who's been fired a lot, but he always manages to get his job back. As CBS 4's Gary Nelson reports, he might not succeed this time. And in the middle of this story, a very mean-looking weapon, just like the one used at Sandy Hook.
It's not every day you see a weapon like this displayed around a city conference table, but Herman Bosque is not your everyday cop. He's the most disciplined, fined, fired, arrested cop in the state. He's been fired 8 times by 3 departments, 6 times by Opelika, none stuck. In a hearing Wednesday, Opelika argued Bosque should be fired now for leaving his AR-15 rifle in the care of this man, a security guard, the father of his girlfriend, who is now his fiancée. The city's argument, a cop leaving his assault rifle with a friend while he's out on leave just isn't the done thing.
We're here on a very simple matter. It's going to be up to the arbitrator. We think what the officer did was wrong.
Our news partner, the Miami Herald, reports Bosque has beaten allegations including busting a handcuffed suspect's skull, beating juveniles, having dope and booze in his squad car, ripping off suspects, falsifying reports, an unauthorized chase where 4 people were killed, and calling in sick from Cancun.
It's allegations. Allegations are not convictions. So we have a system in place, and that system is a fair system.
The system has given Bosque more chances than 9 cats have lives. Like many lawmen, he enjoys civil service and union protection.
I love serving the community. I love what I do for a living, and I'm very proud.
But he signed a deal with Opelika, agreeing that one more strike and he's gone, leaving his 30-shot rapid-fire rifle with his girlfriend's dad, even if the dad's a security guard, might make for a strike. This arbitration may be rendered moot. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement that licenses cops may have had enough. FDLE staff will recommend at a hearing this summer that this cop's license be yanked. In Opelika, Gary Nelson, CBS 4 News.
Well, now to a disturbing case coming out of New York. A woman by the name of Lydia Cuomo is trying to redefine the word rape in the state. Last year, she was waiting for her ride to school on her first day working as a 2nd grade teacher. And that's when a drunk off-duty police officer pulled up, pointed a gun at her, and then raped her repeatedly. Well, the perpetrator, the man you see there, former officer Michael Pena, was convicted of forcing anal and oral sex on the victim. But not rape. That's because in New York, anal and oral rape is not considered rape under the law. Well, Cuomo says she believes, quote, rape is rape, and is using her experience to change the law in that state. And she told the Daily News, quote, I had witnesses, I had DNA, I had my own testimony, I had 2 cops. I had them saying, we admit he sexually assaulted you, and I didn't get the verdict I needed the first time. And that just highlights to me the problem in the system. For more, I'm joined now by independent journalist Amber Lyon. Amber, great to have you here in the studio.
Thank you so much, Liz.
So rape is rape. That's what the victim says, but not in New York. How is rape defined there?
Well, the problem is that in New York State, they only consider vaginal penetration to be rape. And in the case of Lydia's situation, she says that she was forced to commit oral sex and anal sex and considers that to be rape. But according to the law, that is just sexual assault. So right now she's seeking legal justification because you can imagine the horror she's been through. And now the courts aren't even recognizing that that's rape, and she's got to try to explain to people that it's only being considered sexual assault and not rape in this case. And unfortunately, Liz, this is the case nationwide in almost every state.
So New York is not unique in this?
No, only 8 states recognize oral and anal sex as being legally considered rape.
So what do they consider in those states?
Just vaginal penetration.
And so I guess just a form of sexual assault, or just not as serious of an accusation of rape.
And you can imagine these women, they feel like any type of assault to that extent, especially an anal assault, is rape. But the courts aren't recognizing that, and that's what Lydia is desperately trying to change in New York, for not only for herself and her own justification, but for future victims of sexual assault.
Can you talk about how this victim, Lydia Cuomo, is now trying to change his definition? What exactly is she trying to do to make sure that no other woman faces the same ordeal after already you know, being under these terrible circumstances.
Well, right now she's boldly, and you can imagine it's very difficult for her to talk about this publicly, but she is coming forward, showing her face, showing her name, explaining that this happened to her, and she's headed to Albany to try to pass the Rape is Rape bill, which includes oral and anal assaults as being considered rape. And she's really hoping that New York State will recognize that those are crimes that make victims feel as horrifically as what they consider to be rape at this point.
Well, just this afternoon, the Senate passed the Violence Against Women Act. How does this bill address the issue of violence against women?
Well, for decades, the Violence Against Women Act has been key to not only offering support for victims of assaults, sexual assaults, and physical assaults, but also offering women a way to feel confident to come out and expose the perpetrators. And it has created key programs nationwide to offer support for these victims. And according to advocates, the Violence Against Women Act is responsible for reducing rates of domestic violence against women, also for increasing rates of women who feel confident enough to come forward and expose that they're being abused.
Right, and so we do see support in the Senate, but not so much progress in the House. What is the holdup there?
Well, the problem all comes down to rape and sexual assaults that occur on Indian reservations. What happened is that the Violence Against Women Act says that tribal courts can charge non-Native Americans for assaulting or raping Native Americans. And advocates say that this is needed legislation. They say federal courts are far. They need these tribal courts to really be able to prosecute these cases. They also say that if you assault someone, you deserve to be held responsible. And Republicans were saying that it's unconstitutional to try non-Native Americans in tribal court. So there was a holdup there, but it looks like those amendments are going to stay in the bill and that this will pass with enough Republican support and Democratic support to eventually be signed by the president.
Of course, Native Americans, domestic violence is a huge problem among that population. So this bill does aim to help them, but it looks like that's the problem there.
Yeah, and if you talk to advocates, Native Americans, they're 2.5 times more likely to be assaulted, sexually assaulted, than average Americans. So this is a key issue that the Violence Against Women Act is focusing on this round, and advocates say that's a victory enough that this is being discussed.
All right, so well, a victory today. What do you think is in store for this victim in New York that's trying to change the definition of rape there? Do you think she'll be successful in her endeavor?
There are high hopes. So far, her team and supporters say that she is winning at this point because she's getting people talking about that. I don't know if you knew that that those forms of assault were not considered rape, but before I started investigating this case, I didn't know that so many states across the United States don't consider anal rape and oral rape to be rape. Even now, I'm calling it rape.
The vast majority of people, I think, would say yes, that is indeed rape. And Amber.
So she's winning in that case by just getting people to talk about it, and I think she feels successful in that
Absolutely,
matter.
Amber, great to have you on here. That was Amber Lyon. She's an independent journalist.
Does he live here?
This is my ultimate hunger quest.
Do you live here?
This
okay.
is man versus food.
And do you live here all the time?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna... So we're gonna be smoking marijuana. I mean, I can smell it.
I'm not gonna have you assume what happens or what's going on. Just I don't care. Don't make it.
So
That's an assumption. That is an assumption.
Okay, so we're gonna.
So just because I see you have a gun, can I assume that you shoot people?
If the need arises.
This is bigger than my large.
Okay. But here,
so just because I have something does not mean that I use it. No, it doesn't. If the need arises, but I don't have a need. For
20 years. Well, I just want you to realize that having marijuana in a home with a felon and with young children is not a smart idea.
Okay, I understand that.
All right, glad we're all on the same page.
Thank you.
3 nefarious nights a year, diners torch their taste buds with the spiciest food on earth.
Guess what? Your mother's freedom depends on the answer.
And I don't have to answer that question because there's no investigation going on for any of that at all.
I
I don't care what plain view is.
Marijuana.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because if it belongs to her,
it doesn't belong to her.
Okay.
3-bomb duck.
Does that answer your
6-bomb
question?
grilled skirt steak. Maybe.
Alright, well that actually it did answer your question. Because you asked me if it belonged to her, so I said no. That answers the question, does it not?
Let me
Can I just ask if your job is done so you may leave?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Repeat your question.
So, can I ask if your job is done so that you may leave? Because I don't want to
Let me answer it this way.
intercept what you're doing.
Let me answer it this way. Had you not been such a highly abrasive...
What does that have to do with the investigation of finding out whether someone
This is the hottest pepper in the world.
If you had not been so highly abrasive and unnecessarily uncooperative, we'd be gone already.
I was just letting you know what was going on, and you decided to stick around and tell me that I was being abrasive. I know I'm being abrasive. I don't particularly enjoy waking up to somebody walking around and unbelieving everything I'm saying. So I don't know how comfortable that would make you in your own home. And then the fact that I told you it made me uncomfortable, but you won't stand outside like he is. Because you know that it makes me uncomfortable, so you keep doing it.
All I can tell you is, I know now that you're a drug abuser, and you're
You
in
actually
denial
don't
about
know
it.
that. You
You're in
actually don't
denial
know
about
that.
it.
You
You are
actually don't
in
know
denial
that.
about it.
You actually don't know that.
I do.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
Denial. It's not just a
That's
river in
actually
Egypt.
saying I'm not. If saying I'm not is denial, then everybody's in fucking
Tell the
denial.
person, be careful who you kiss in the evening. You went home and kissed his wife.
You're in denial of me telling you that your
Drug
job is done
abuser.
to get out of the
And the
house.
worst part about it is you're defensive about it. Unnecessarily so.
Do you see your personality? It's very irritating. That's why I like this. And anybody would be irritated by someone walking into their house and telling them what they are. So that is pretty irritating. How would you feel if I walked into your house and told you you were an alcoholic because I saw a wine bottle on your desk? Jesus, my Lord, I could start going off the hinges on that, but I don't. Because that's not my assumption to make. And that's not your job to be doing right now.
A denier of their own
Thank
substance
you.
abuse. Skylar.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for that.
Now you're under arrest.
No, I'm not. You didn't. I'm not. Daniel, Sarah, did you see that?
I'm recording it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I was reaching for the door.
Stay right there.
She's the architect of the demonic Hell Knight. And so what is the hottest?
Stay right there. We'll let you on in.
What am I under arrest for? What am I under arrest for? What am I under arrest for? Tell me now. Tell me now. Tell me now or let me go. I haven't done anything wrong. You tell me what I'm arrested for or let me go now.
Stand up. The hottest thing on the net.
What have I been arrested for?
Outside.
What have I been arrested for?
That uses 3
What have I been
roast
arrested for? Tell me now.
food and the hottest pasta in the entire world.
Did you see that? I got it on tape. He pushed her. He pushed her.
I saw that.
Tell me what I have done and I will walk to your car. Tell me what I have done as a citizen. What have I done?
You need to.
What am I being arrested for? What am I being arrested for? You need to answer my question as a policeman. What am I being arrested for? I will resist once you tell me what I'm being arrested for. Why do I have handcuffs on? Tell me now. Sarah, come over here. Keep recording. Tell me why I have handcuffs on now. What am I being arrested for? You have to tell me. What am I being arrested for? Can you answer my question? For what? For trying to close the door? For reaching for the door? Excuse me? There were 2 witnesses that saw him throw me to the ground and push me back. I will not. What am I being arrested for? You have to tell me before you put me in there.
In the car.
No, tell me what I'm being arrested for. Tell me what I'm being arrested for. Tell me. You have to tell me by law. What am I being arrested for? You have to tell me before you do this to me. This is not your job and you cannot be doing this. No! I will not! You can't do this to me until you tell me what I'm being arrested for!
Get it.
No! Stop! This is against the law! I am not being arrested for anything! Tell me what I'm being arrested for! You're gonna fucking lose your job! You piece of shit! What am I being arrested for? What did I do? Stop putting your hand in my mouth! Sarah! Sarah! Get him! What am I being arrested for?
Put your feet in the car.
What am I being arrested for? I haven't done anything wrong. You can't do this. I have not done anything wrong. You can't do this. You cannot do this.
Stop.
Can you stop?
Chill out.
No. You're doing this illegally. You have not told me what I'm being arrested for. This is completely illegal. No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does.
No, she doesn't. She's just fine. She's recording.
You have a hobble? I don't.
Can you
get
this?
Actually,
tell me. Tell me what I'm being arrested for.
Chill out.
No, I won't be. You're throwing me in a car without telling me anything that I've done.
Told you.
You threw me on the floor.
I already told you.
No, you did not.
I already told you. Disorderly
That is
conduct.
not what I'm being arrested
Stop.
for.
Chill out.
Stop making it seem like I'm doing more. I'm sitting here asking you a question. What disorderly conduct? By what means? What was disorderly conduct?
You want to just
answer my question.
This one? Yeah.
Answer my question. You have to answer my question before you arrest me. What am I being arrested for? May I leave? What are your means of arrest?
What is she being arrested for?
Disorderly conduct.
What did she do?
Disorderly conduct. The fact that your officer threw me on the floor for no reason?
Brian.
That was on video. I hope you know that.
Okay. Do you want to seatbelt that side in?
Can you stop being so rough with me, please?
If you'll stop, if you'll chill out.
I have not done anything except for stand up for my goddamn rights as a person. You have no reason to be doing this without any grounds. Is this really necessary? You have no reason to be doing this. I have no reason to be arrested right now, and this is not me fighting back in any way. This is me standing up for my rights, because you're doing this without any cause. What am I being arrested for? You have to tell me. I haven't done anything. Disorderly conduct. You have to tell me.
Take pictures, bitch.
I didn't do anything.
What are you guys arrested for?
I have the whole thing on tape.
What'd they arrest her for? What did she do?
She was trying to...
Caused by you guys doing what?
She is an adult, and we are not going to discuss her criminal matters with you. I don't care if you're a parent or...
Well, how do you get into my house to begin with?
Somebody called 911.
Somebody? Who's somebody? And you're not investigating them to call in a fraudulent call? Are you kidding me?
I'm not going to discuss her matters with you.
Okay, well, I'd like to know the matter of somebody calling a fraudulent call into my house. How about we go there?
Maybe that happened.
Oh, so that's okay?
I'm not saying it's okay.
But you're not going to do nothing about it?
Do what? Not
really?
Respond to 911 calls of
Oh, so you can't go back and find out who made said call? You're dragging people out of my house and there's really no reason for you to be there, but it's okay?
Sir, do you want to tell me your name? Okay,
then are you going to tell me what you're doing in my house?
I just explained it to you.
They came on a 911 call. I freaking let him in to make sure everyone was okay, and I don't know what happened after that.
Well, you should have never let him in first.
He was accusing of Skylar. She
made the 911 call. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know.
He was accusing her of drug abuse.
Drug abuse? What drug
Which
abuse?
he had no right to do. They looked around the house. He saw the thing in their room.
All the freaking thoughts.
What drug abuse is that?
Marijuana.
Is she an adult?
Yeah, she's an adult.
Yeah, that's fine. We need to get her out of here.
You don't need to take her anywhere. You can take her out of the car.
Crooked if you ask me, you guys.
just came out of his house. He just came out of his house with my kids. Don't touch me. Don't touch my ball. I can take pictures if I have to. Yo, I want your badge number. I want your badge number. What's your name? I need your name and your badge number. Obstructing government administration. Excuse me, sir. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't think you just tell us. She's good. They don't do this shit to fucking Jews. Y'all don't do this shit to fucking Jews. Y'all don't do this shit to fucking Jews. Y'all don't do this shit to fucking Jews. Okay, this is not New York. This is New York. Y'all don't do this shit to fucking Jews. Okay? Y'all don't do this shit. Y'all don't do this shit. Fuck out of here. Why you beat on this wall? Huh? For what? For what? For what? Y'all don't go across these conflicts and do this shit. Y'all don't. Don't say all right. Right is right, wrong is wrong. You're not even telling me what you're arrested for. What's he arrested for? What's he arrested for? What's he arrested for? For what? For what? For what? For what? I want to calm down. Calm down. Take everything. Video take every fucking place. Hey, but that don't walk across this hallway. That don't do nothing. You're not going back with me. Back off. Back off. Why? Yo, we were. I ain't do nothing. I ain't doing nothing. Like the fucking Jews. Y'all don't go across these conflicts and they're doing that. He just came out of the house. Y'all protect fucking Jews. Yo, so I'm not y'all don't protect your fucking own. Y'all don't protect your fucking own. Y'all protect the fucking Jews. What's your badge number, sir? They're gonna badge what's his name up. Be him. What precinct number anyway? You see what be more? Follow them where? So on foot? So we gonna walk on train station. I was just with my brother. He got the oil thing. I'm gonna fuck out of here. He's telling you back up, right? He's telling you back up, but why are you backing up? You're attacking him. Everybody got that shit on. Take that off and let's do it. You know what? But this ain't New York. It's New fucking York. Y'all fucking suckers. Y'all punk ass. That nigga pussy, man. They fucking suckers. They fucking suckers. They protect the fucking fucking Jews, but when they come to that order, they don't protect them. They fucking bastards. Fuck them. Fuck them. Damn right, fuck y'all, motherfuckers. I'm gonna speak the fuck off.
They just took him?
Beat him and arrest him for fucking nothing. But when it comes to fucking Jews, raping and killing fucking these y'all don't do shit. Fuck y'all motherfuckers out here.
Let's go, Donasia. Bring that baby.
Was he just walking down the street?
And they're gonna lock him, beat him over here at the corner and lock him the fuck up. Fuck out of here. I'm sick of this shit. When it comes to blacks, Puerto Ricans, and whites, they beat the hell out of us. But when it comes to fucking Jews, they don't do shit. Because this is not New York, it's fucking New York. It's New York. Jews run everything and control every fucking thing. And it's time somebody speak out behind that bullshit. I'm sick of this shit. I got kids, I got grand-fucking children. You tell me my fucking kids and grandsons can't walk these fucking streets? You telling mine can't walk this motherfucking street?
On and whoop them.
Fuck out of here. Now me don't take, I don't give a fuck no more. Now I'm tired. We got the right to walk the street. We got the right to live. Right here, and they just start bagging them up, beating them, begging them, and all this shit. Fuck out of here.
Prayer vigil is held tonight after a father is shot and killed in Maywood by an off-duty Chicago police officer. Relatives say the father came to his 4-year-old daughter's rescue when the deadly confrontation unfolded. Christopher Middleton, a 26-year-old Maywood father, is remembered tonight. His loved ones scrum messages expressing their love and sorrow now that he's dead.
Chris was a great father. He was always helpful, never mad, always happy, with a smile on his face.
He was the father of 4-year-old Tanaya Middleton. Last night, Maywood police say the girl darted into the street as an off-duty Chicago police officer on his way home was riding his motorcycle on First Avenue. Authorities say the officer ditched his bike trying to avoid the girl, but the motorcycle clipped her anyway. The Middleton family says the girl was crossing the street with an 18-year-old cousin to join her parents at a nearby restaurant.
Her face was like skin, you know, so the skin is skinned off her side of her face. So she's in a lot of pain right now.
Once the girl was injured, relatives say her father and an 18-year-old relative went to help.
Of course a father would be upset, you know what I mean, at the initial reaction of seeing his child in this condition, and he confronted the guy, and, you know, they got into a confrontation.
Maywood police say the men attacked the 43-year-old police officer, an 8-year veteran on the force. Authorities say he identified himself as a police officer before firing the deadly shot, but that's in dispute.
He never let anyone know that he was an officer until after he shot him.
Middleton was transported to Loyola University Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead less than a half hour later. His family wants the officer to be held responsible for the shooting.
We just want justice to be served.
The girl and police officer are expected to survive, and along with Maywood Police, Chicago's Independent Police Review Authority is also investigating.
A developing story tonight. New cell phone video shows a Sacramento police officer repeatedly hitting with a baton a man while other officers hold that man down. The man later died. Good evening. I'm Shanna Bernius.
I'm Sam Shane, and we go to Laura Cole. She joins us live now along Folsom Boulevard in Sacramento, where this incident took place. And Laura, these pictures are not good. There's a lot to sort out here tonight. So walk us through the video. What happened here?
We want to get right to the video now. CBS 13 received this from a viewer who wants to remain anonymous. We have also reviewed this video. This is what we see. A female officer using her baton to repeatedly strike a man. We notice that his forehead is bloody. We don't know what from. We also notice that another officer is on top of him and that this man's legs are still moving. This was all happening about 3 feet from the Metro PCS store. We also then continue to see that after several strikes, this female officer put her baton away. Now, we spoke with the police department here. They say they received a 911 call from a woman inside that store saying she was in danger. They rushed out, they say, and that there was a struggle that ensued between the man and several officers, and that, in fact, it was a violent struggle. They say they had to call for more backup. Once those officers arrived, and they say they got the man under control, they noticed that he was not breathing. They called in a medic. They took him to the hospital, they say, and that's where he died. We did tell the Sacramento Police Department about this video. They say they would like to see it. Take a listen.
At this time, that's why investigators are here. We're going to review video all in this area, and if there is any video, we'd love to speak to those witnesses and talk to them and get that video and review it. Because at this time, the process is obviously the DA's office comes out, our internal affairs, the detectives, and there's a full review of the incident, and they'll be reviewing everything that transpired out here.
Now, as for the woman who captured this on her cell phone, she was out here shopping. Again, she's a CBS 13 viewer who wants to remain anonymous, but we spoke with her by phone tonight, and here's why she said she took the video.
From what I saw, I don't think so, because it was a police officer on top of that man's back, and it was on his head, so I don't feel like it was justified. But I can't just honestly say that it was, because I didn't see it from the beginning. I don't know what the man did.
So again, a lot of questions tonight surrounding what happened out here, including what is on this video. Of course, officers say they have a lot more to do, and of course we'll continue to ask questions.
All right, Laura, before you go, because there's so much more to explore in this piece of videotape, it is so very troubling to see when there are anybody in authority holding someone down who apparently is not armed. These are extraordinarily troubling pictures to watch. But we don't know a lot in this case, and that's where I want to go with you later on in this newscast. We don't know if this suspect, this man who later died, why he or she died, if there were drugs in the system. There is an investigation ongoing, so I know that you talked. Tell me more about. You did talk to authorities about this, did you not? Because I want to explore more about this later in the newscast.
Yes, we did speak with them, but at this point, Sam, they're not telling us a whole lot. That's because the situation, they say, is ongoing, and they're still trying to figure out the facts themselves.
Okay, very good. And I know that you talked to the person who took this videotape, so we will explore that more later tonight here in the CBS 13 News. Thanks very much, Laura. We'll see you soon with this developing story as it is taking place at this hour.
Bruised, battered, and now facing felony charges. Park police officers admit they physically restrained a San Antonio woman, but they say only after she threw the first punch. But the woman, she tells a different tale and says video backs up her version. Our Dylan Collier is live with more.
And Jeff, 5 days after the incident, the woman's face and body show a fiesta celebration gone horribly wrong.
Christina Oliver says she entered a Shell station in the 500 block of Cevallos late Saturday night to use the restroom, but accidentally walked into the stock room instead.
So when I realized that it was for employees, I came back out into the store.
That's when two Park police officers confronted her, asking if she was shoplifting. Oliver says one of them punched her in the eye. A San Antonio police report states Oliver struck first.
They said it was, he had to pause to call for backup because it was such a strong punch to the throat.
No.
That's my sister. She's in the restroom.
Jason Alvarado started recording video moments after his sister was put in handcuffs. San Antonio police officers joined Park Police as Oliver's family and friends become more agitated outside. Tempers boil over when the crowd sees officers shove a handcuffed Oliver into the store's front window.
I can hear the bang. 3 bangs against the glass.
Jason and his cousin are eventually arrested for interference with police after refusing to stop recording video. A resisting arrest charge against Christina upgraded to felony assault of a peace officer.
The way I walked into the Shell was not like this. The way I walked out of the Shell was crazy.
The arresting officer is now the subject of an internal affairs investigation. Christina suffered a fractured nose and bruising and swelling over much of her body. She says she has put off starting a new job until she heals. Reporting live downtown, Dylan Collier, KINS 5 Eyewitness News.
being harassed by this officer right here.
Step it up. Come back.
Trying to ID me in my house against the law. Trying to take out the taser.
I need you to stop resisting.
I'm not resisting. It's my house.
Stop resisting. I need to know who you are.
It's my house. I'm his brother.
Hey, this guy is going hands on me.
Is he?
And he's resisting.
I'm not resisting.
So put your hands behind your back.
Well, newly released police dash cam video raises some questions about the November 2011 deadly shooting of a drunk man at the hands of a Nez Perce tribal police officer. The man was driving drunk. He crashed his car, stole the truck of 2 hunters who had stopped to help him, and after a pursuit with multiple agencies, was stopped with spike strips. The officer who shot the man had been on voluntary manslaughter charges, dismissed on those charges because of insufficient evidence. And we have a warning for you tonight. Before you see this video, a man is shown getting killed. KXLY 4's Colleen O'Brien has the story.
Once the spike strips put a stop to the chase, the video shows Jeffrey Flynn in the stolen white truck open the driver's side door, sitting facing outward. Flynn has a weapon and fires it once at law enforcement from 3 agencies at the scene: Idaho State Police, the Lewis County Sheriff's Office, and Nez Perce Tribal Police. Flynn then gets out of the car unarmed with his hands up. Nearly 5 seconds pass, and for reasons that are still unclear, officers open fire on Flynn, who died at the scene. Despite the evidence in this dash cam video, the Idaho U.S. Attorney's Office declined to pursue charges against the tribal officer responsible for killing Flynn. The Lewis County prosecutor later charged one of the officers with voluntary manslaughter, but yesterday a magistrate judge ruled there was insufficient evidence for the case to move forward. The magistrate's ruling came after officers at the scene testified that tribal police fired more than 30 shots at Flynn. The prosecutor issued this statement to KXLY today. While disappointed in the outcome of the preliminary hearing, we respect the judge's decision in this matter. And the officer in question seems to have the support of Nez Perce Tribal Committee as well. A chairman in a written statement said the shooting was justified and wrote, "Flynn fired on them with a loaded rifle in the cab and they, officers, returned fire." While the video evidence does show Flynn fired a shot before he stepped out of the car, it also shows that he was unarmed with his hands above his head when he was shot to death.
Well, new video obtained by News Channel 5 Investigates raises even more questions about whether police are profiting from the war on drugs.
It shows an interstate interdiction officer offering to trade the freedom of 2 truckers for their cash.
And the DA says it's just good police work. But critics say it's a prime example of how the rules have been twisted by laws that let agencies keep the money they seize.
Tonight, News Channel 5 Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams has that video.
Here in rural Hickman County on a darkened stretch of westbound Interstate 40, 2 California truckers will soon be given a tough choice.
You're going to have to trust me or you're going to have to go out on a limb and see what happens once we find it.
Potentially face a criminal prosecution or hand over the cash that the interdiction officer suspects is hidden somewhere in their tractor trailer before the night is up.
Hey guys, it's in the back of the reefer, you just got to get to it.
Agents will recover piles of suspected drug money, almost $500,000, money that their agency, the 21st Judicial District Drug Task Force, will get to keep.
I will do everything I can to take that money out of the hands of those drug dealers and the cartel.
But DA Kim Helper says the 2 truckers who she believes were drug couriers got to walk without even being asked to name their accomplices because she believes they had not really committed a crime that she could prosecute.
The transportation of illegal drug proceeds through the state of Tennessee, from my reading of the statute, is not a crime.
You say you're not traveling with anything illegal in your truck, right? No drugs? All right, and you're not traveling with any large amounts of drugs? No, sir, no, sir.
The incident begins as a routine traffic stop, except in this case, agents are specifically looking for drug money heading back to Mexico.
You wouldn't have a problem if I searched your truck or your trailer for any items mentioned?
As the time passes, suspicions are aroused by discrepancies in the trucker's stories, but officers are not finding anything up in the refrigerated trailer known as a reefer, so the agent begins threatening the truckers with criminal prosecution.
Money laundering is what it's called, and it's a federal offense. The good thing for you is, when we seize money, we don't deal with the feds. We seize it ourselves. And if it ain't your money, and you say, Agent Owens, it ain't my money, I don't know how it got there.
He's essentially offering him his defense, isn't he?
I don't think he is, because I think he recognizes at this point that the transport of money just through the state is not a crime under our money laundering statute.
Does it not make sense that I'm trying to help you? Because he honestly can't think for a second that we ain't going to stay here until we find it.
He sure is making this guy think he's committed a crime.
Well, and again, as I've indicated to you, law enforcement agents use various means of questioning to get as much information as they can.
But if I have not committed a crime, is it proper for a police officer to make me think that I have?
I believe that officers can use a variety of techniques.
Here's the thing, all right? Don't talk to him. Just listen. Just listen, okay? Do you want to go home? I sure do.
Then the officer assures the driver that if they cough up the cash, they will not be asked to write out their accomplices.
Hey, I'm not asking you if you have knowledge about it, and I won't ask you if you have knowledge about it. You understand me? All I'm asking you is, where's the money?
Throughout this incident, the officers tell him, you do not have to tell us where you got this money.
I don't even care where you got it. All right? I want the product. That's what I'm after.
Is that police work?
Police work to the extent that these officers, from my perspective, are trying to work with these guys who are merely the couriers.
But at no point does any officer ever ask, what's the name of the big fish in this case?
Right. And I agree with you. Should they have asked it? Maybe.
Finally, an hour into the traffic stop,
We'll come back. You sign these forms saying you don't know anything about it. You're just claiming it. It's not yours. And it's done.
It's in the back of the Reaper. I don't know how it got there. Not mine.
We're good.
the driver comes clean. A short time later, this task force will be $500,000 richer. Still, the DA admits she isn't completely happy with the outcome.
I would love to see our legislature make a change so that we can make those arrests on the side of the roads of these guys.
Now, we also found cases in the Dixon area where subjects supposedly admitted that the money was from drugs. Not only were they released without charges, but we're told that the video evidence of those stops was later destroyed.
Staying tight-lipped. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Daryl Green. Merle Purvis is off this evening. The daughter of a shoplifting suspect shot by the Memphis police is speaking out tonight. Kelsey Golden first watched the video, which aired on Fox 13, which appears to show an officer using possible excessive force on her father after he was shot. Now, she says that George Golden is partially brain dead. Police say they shot the suspect after he resisted arrest, and they felt that their lives were in danger during that scuffle. This all went down Wednesday in a Walmart parking lot. Fox 13's Bofta Yamam spoke exclusively with the suspect's daughter. She joins us now in the studio with more. Bofta?
Daryl, we've obtained a police affidavit which doesn't even mention an officer-involved shooting. Kelsey Golden says her father was shot in the chest and is in critical condition tonight. She says doctors told her he's partially brain dead due to lack of oxygen, which she blames on the officers who she says didn't quickly rush him to the hospital. Now she wants answers into possible police misconduct.
That's my father.
Kelsey Golden says this cell phone video shows police blatantly used excessive force on her father after he was shot by an officer. The bystander's video appears to show an officer stomp, then kick a man on the ground twice. Kelsey says police confirm the suspect they shot is her father, George Golden.
Suspended without pay simply because I'm sure you're not supposed to. That's not something you're supposed to do. If he was already shot, why would you do that?
Police say the shooting happened after a Walmart shoplifting suspect resisted arrest multiple times and fought with officers. Then they say the suspect reached inside his waistband as if he was concealing a weapon. That's when they shot him. You can hear the suspect plead for his life.
I just don't want to die. Okay?
What goes through your mind when you hear your father say that? While no weapon was found on the suspect, Police Director Tony Armstrong says the officers likely felt threatened.
Apparently, according to the officers, this one escalated to a level where it became physical. And during that physical altercation, they felt that their lives were in danger.
But he's not a threat to the community or anything like that.
Kelsey wants MPD to apologize to this man on the ground, who she describes as a stand-up guy. While Golden now faces criminal charges, this Fox 13 2007 footage shows George Golden in a different position, promoting a citywide prayer to combat crime.
As parents, it's our responsibility, our duty, to see that our children do not stumble. And, you know, it's our duty to give love, that hope, and let them know the values of life. And so our children won't continue to stray away and go to these streets.
Now, Kelsey says her father has been in and out of work for the past several years. After officers placed him in custody, they found a large number of DVDs in his pants and jacket. The affidavit says the value of those DVDs is $215. He faces several charges in this case, including assault and theft. Court records show Golden has been found guilty of similar charges in the past. Reporting live in our studio, Bof Imam, Fox 13 News.
He's bleeding! Yo! Stop! Stop hitting his fucking head, bitch! Oh my God, I can't take this shit! Yo! Yo, put the fucking gun down! You guys gun. Why you hitting him in the head? He got the stick back. Yo, chill, son! Chill, son! Shakur, call the fucking ambulance! Call the fucking ambulance! Yo, call the fucking ambulance! Yo, son, I got a lawyer for you, B! I got a fucking lawyer for you, son! I got a lawyer for you, son! Grimy ass fucking 7-9 pigs! Hate them fucking pigs! Fucking pigs! That's why you leaking, pig! That's why you leaking, pig! Oh, he almost shot the D! Ah! How he almost shot his own mans? Fucking ruthless ass motherfuckers! Why they got him bleeding like that? Come upstairs! Hurry the fuck up! Bianca, come in the building. I got nothing to do with you. Hurry the fuck up! Hurry the fuck up! All this shit is on camera! But how that nigga almost got shot? The D. They got him. Look at this shit. Pull it. Oh my fucking God. We need medics. We need medics! Fuck the police! Suck my dick! That's fucking crazy! They heard 162! This is what happens! Look at this! Look at this! Look at this! For fucking police brutality! All this for police brutality! For police brutality! Meanwhile, niggas died down the block, y'all didn't do shit! Brutality! Alright? Fuck out of here! Y'all niggas is crooked! All of y'all! All of y'all! Video all this up the fucking block, down the fucking block. All this shit. Look at this fat motherfucker. Can't even run. Can't even hold his clip. Fuck that. Fucking pigs. Fucking pigs. Fucking pigs. Look at Sean. Look at Sean. She ain't even do nothing. She didn't even do nothing. She ain't do nothing. She ain't do nothing. She ain't do shit. That bitch go to work every fucking day! Y'all grimy! All y'all niggas is grimy! Fuck the fuck!
She ain't do nothing! She was just telling she ain't do nothing! Yo, wildin'!
A Metro police officer has been demoted for something he did to a homeless man's belongings.
It started as a peaceful encounter on public property until the police officer pulled a knife. Channel 4's Carly Gordon is here to tell us what happened next.
Yeah, Demetria, the officer didn't attack the homeless man with the knife, but he did go after the man's only shelter, his tent. Now that officer has been removed from the streets, and his higher-ups are having to apologize for his actions. Sean Connor has been homeless for the past 4 years. He's lived here in a tent off of Charlotte Avenue for about 1. And during that time, he's met Metro police officers on several occasions.
Never had any problems, never.
In fact, some of them he calls friends.
We talk, and they go down the road, and I'm always, saluting or saying hi.
But the other night, a group of officers made a sweep on Connor's camp, hoping to clean up some of the crime happening in the area. Connor was cited for criminal trespassing, but when he returned...
My tent was slashed. I mean, it looked like Freddy Krueger had come through there, and just, cut it up. Brand new tent. I hadn't had it 2 weeks. $150 tent. And they're not easy for me to come by, being homeless,
Connor says he had no choice but to sleep in what was left of his home.
Only place I had. Woke up with a half-inch of snow on me, the next morning. One of the coldest nights of the year. I could have died.
Officer Sean Heath admitted to the deed. He's since been taken off the streets and is now under investigation.
This was one officer doing something that he shouldn't have done, should not have happened. There's no question about that. He realizes that. He realizes that he was wrong in what he did.
As for Connor, he's not asking for Heath's job.
Well, I hate that. I really do.
Or even a new tent. But what he is asking for tonight, an apology maybe.
I know a lot of people don't like the homeless.
And mutual respect.
It was nasty. All I had to do was say, Sean, leave. And I would have left. I would have left right then. Think about what your actions are. I mean, that was the only place I had to go.
Now, Officer Heath has been with the department for 3 years. He hasn't been in trouble before now. He will remain off the streets until this investigation is complete. As for Connor, he's borrowing a friend's tent right now and has since moved into the woods. Tom?
Carly Gordon.
Tonight, 9 News Now has uncovered new information on a deadly police shooting in Culpeper. An eyewitness now contradicting the police version of yesterday's confrontation in a Catholic school parking lot that ended with the death of 54-year-old Patricia Cook. Peggy Fox is in Culpeper with the latest on this investigation.
An eyewitness here in Culpeper is contradicting what state police are saying about the investigation and why the Culpeper police officer fired at a Sunday school teacher.
He had his hand on the door handle, one hand here and one hand, I remember distinctly because his hands were real close together.
Chris Bouchel says he saw a Culpeper town police officer shoot 54-year-old Patricia Cook to death in this church parking lot yesterday morning. Cook was in her Jeep Wrangler. State police say Cook rolled up the window, catching the officer's arm inside, and then dragged him. Bouchel says it didn't happen that way.
He was right next to the vehicle. He had one hand on the door handle and one hand on his weapon. And she was rolling the window up, and they were exiting out of the parking lot. The window was halfway up. He said, "Stop or I'll shoot." And I really didn't think he was going to do it. But she got the window all the way up, and that's when he shot. And then she took a left out of the parking lot here, and he stepped out in the street and fired 5 more times.
Bouchel says the officer was not dragged. He says he couldn't have had his arm caught because he fired through the glass.
I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm sad. I'm fighting back tears right now.
Cook's husband doesn't understand why an officer would shoot his unarmed wife multiple times.
Personally, I think it may be an overreaction, maybe excessive force, but I can only surmise that.
He doesn't know why his wife was in the parking lot of the Epiphany Catholic School. Their couple's pastor at Culpeper United Methodist Church thinks she may have been there searching for a job to work with children because she loved her volunteer role teaching Sunday school here.
We have to celebrate the good things and the parts that we had of Pat and not just what we've lost.
Gary Cook is filled with questions along with his grief over his wife's killing.
I wish I knew what was going on. I honestly do. I wish I knew what was happening.
Culpeper Town Police and the County Sheriff's Department are assisting state police in the investigation. No charges have been filed, but Gary Clark is talking to an attorney about possible legal action. In Culpeper, Peggy Fox, 9 News Now.
Well, thank you, Peggy. And we should note the Virginia Medical Examiner does have Cook's body, so he can determine the exact cause of death.
Why? Why?
They don't have a choice here. You know, I had a complaint on this. You have a complaint?
Dude, I've been out with you. Can I make another phone call or no?
Yes, look at the number.
Chris. Brian Lutz. I know you don't want to hear it from me, but I'm locked up in Manassas PD. I am locked up in Manassas PD. TBI.
Is that Chris Nestle? Right.
Let me call you back on the hard line. I'll call you right back. I'm sorry.
He wants to talk to me, I'll talk to him.
I wasn't trying to be an asshole.
Okay, what's the...
I know, it's, you know, it's a habit.
What's the number there?
Yeah. God, what the fuck? No, I'm at Manassas Police Department. Hey, is this you? Did you do this or no? No, I'm not. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't even know what to do, dude.
I called Andy Safranco. He does DWI stuff. He works with O'Connell and Rodowitz. Charlie's telling me that you blew a 2-1 the last time you blew. That's going to, Brian, that's going to put you above the aggravated, okay? Which you don't want. The advice of the criminal attorney is to take the common law and not blow. It's going to complicate things if you blow the aggravated, okay? Because you're going to have a revocation issue, and you're going to have a steering column blow-in thing at some point.
Right.
You know, but listen, here's a good thing. Here's a good thing. You last. Was 11 years ago. Yeah. So you're outside of that 10-year outside that 10-year box. All right.
Here's just so you know what the sergeant said. If he doesn't blow, no. If he doesn't blow, you have to call the judge and they'll bring it in.
Okay.
The judge will release him immediately, but the judge will have to get an arraignment.
Yeah.
That's what the sergeant said.
Okay.
Anyone that refuses, automatically the judge comes in, they arraign him, he's out the door. They're not going to get him. Listen to me.
Now listen, that's the attorney's advice. All right? So
we're trying to not fucking have a leading job though, and it was an AI.
Where's my job at this?
You're going to take the 30 days, and then I don't know, Brian. You're outside the 10-year window, so that's going to give you a little bit better of an advantage. But there's going to be issues here with the revocation and the steering column issue. My guess is that they'll go after your job. I can't tell you that they're going to get it or not get it at this point. But
what do you think?
Well, they'll definitely ask for dismissal. I don't see them not. I mean, they don't tolerate this kind of stuff anymore.
But if you go aggravated.
So I hate the deviated.
And Brian, don't forget, you know, if we got Paul Klein or Sal Greenberg, it's easier for us to handle this kind of stuff. But with this cocksucker, you're not going to get any play.
It's aggravated if you blow.
No, I'm not. I'm not blowing.
Okay.
I'm not blowing.
I think that's a smart choice.
I actually appreciate you coming down.
Well, you're a member, buddy.
No. Listen. I appreciate you coming down.
I come for everybody, buddy. You fail, I come. Let's let them do whatever they gotta do then.
I'm not blowing.
Okay. You gotta chill out. You have to chill out. I know you're pissed, and I know you're fucking upset. You have to chill out right now.
How would you be if you did?
Listen to me, okay? You don't think we're gonna fight for your fucking job? You don't think you're gonna have to call Riley and fucking pull one out of your pocket on this one? Okay? You're gonna have to. Okay? You're gonna have to save face and call fucking Riley. Not today. Not right now. But you're gonna have to. It's your acing fucking home. And you're gonna have to tell Chris that you and Riley are friends or whatever. Okay? Listen, it's outside the zoo. It's an AI. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what he did or what he didn't do, okay? It's an AI.
Don't worry.
I have you with it, right? Okay. You have to read it.
You're under arrest for driving while intoxicated. Your refusal to submit to a chemical test or any portion thereof will result in immediate suspension, subsequent revocation of your license or operating privilege, whether or not you found guilty of the charge with which you were arrested. Your refusal to submit to a chemical test or any portion thereof can be introduced into evidence against you at a trial, proceeding, or hearing resulting from this arrest. Will you submit to a chemical test to determine the alcohol or drug content of your blood?
No.
No.
I only said no. I have no idea what you're writing.
No, I'm just talking. No. I gotta do this 3 times. Okay?
Why are you being an asshole?
I'm not being an asshole. Please, Brian.
Why are you being an asshole to me? I'm sorry.
Come on, these guys are giving you every professional courtesy they possibly can. Let's remember. Be nice, all right?
I actually was. I was just saying, why are you being so mean to me?
They don't want to be here either. You don't want to be here, they don't want to be here.
With the handcuff on,
We're just following procedure. You'd have to do the same thing if he was sitting there.
I understand, Chris. I wasn't trying to bother you. I said, well, why are you being an asshole to me?
Just doing what you got to do.
I appreciate it. Sorry.
Law is what is most disturbing to his family.
Stephanie Elam, CNN, Bakersfield, California.
They just catch me out here sipping on this motherfucking Arizona and shit, you know what I'm saying? Just kicking it, waiting for my nigga Moore to come through, shoot this TTT
I thought
shit.
Moore just came pulled up.
Oh yeah.
He was right behind him.
That wasn't him?
But that wasn't him.
Word. Get Cuzzo out. Huh? Drink. Look at the tea. What's wrong with you? You got alcohol in there? I ain't got no alcohol. You see this is a sweet tea, pink lemonade.
Just make sure.
Who is you?
Police.
Okay. You see what I'm drinking?
Let me look at it.
You is looking at it. I'm not breaking no laws.
Yeah, that's an invasion of privacy, but I got it on
You
camera.
don't gotta touch me.
Read the ingredients.
You read it. Ingredients. Matter of fact, look and see what it is.
I want
Go
to do it. You ain't got to show him.
Go to the
You ain't
gas
got to
station
show
and
him.
see what it is.
First of all, he's an officer cop. You don't even know if he's really a cop. He
He ain't
hasn't
show
showed
me
you
no
a badge or nothing.
identification for no reason.
Leave the property. You got 5 seconds to leave. I can see they're going to be there.
For what?
Yeah, for what though? What's the crime?
We got the camera.
What's the crime?
Leave the property.
He's a civilian as a customer.
Why not? For what? I ain't breaking no laws.
No, I'm in here 12 music. Wild shot town, south side. I'm telling you, I'm day 20. I don't know who these guys are, but I'm showing them that if you got one.
You don't got your badge number.
We need some
We got the
PJ.
camera. Where your badge number?
Hey, where your badge number?
There was a man laying on the floor, and your police officers beat the out of him and killed him. I have it all on video camera.
But the Kern County Sheriff's Department took the unusual step of confiscating that video and at least one other cell phone video as evidence within hours of the incident. The sheriff says he wants to look at all the evidence objectively.
For us not to go get videos that are evidence, we wouldn't be doing a very good investigation.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sheriffs. The guy was laying on the floor, and 8 sheriffs ran up and started beating him up with sticks. The man is dead, laying right here, right now.
That man was 33-year-old David Silva. His family wants to know exactly what happened.
The videos are certainly the best evidence of the last moment of their son's life.
And they may prove whether or not the police overstepped their power, as some witnesses believe. In this surveillance video, the baton can be seen passing through the light several times.
It was devastating to see the cops out there, like, brutally beating this guy in the head.
This witness didn't want to show his face on camera for fear of retaliation by law enforcement.
Because we woke up to him screaming.
What did you hear the man on the ground screaming? What was he saying? Do you remember?
He was asking for help. He was screaming with pain, and he asked for help. He only got to ask for help like 3 times, and after that, I'm pretty sure he didn't recall like nothing, like, cause those hits were brutal, you know.
How many times did you see him get hit?
Honestly, I say about 7 before he dropped to the ground, and then they all proceed to get on him.
CNN obtained this surveillance video from the family's lawyer. It's difficult to tell what's happening, and that's why Cone is working to see that the cell phone evidence is preserved and that law enforcement is held accountable.
The only way they know how to deal with it is to essentially confiscate cell phones, and they'll deal with the constitutional issues down the line. This man was anything but a violent person. He was a very loving person, and the fact that he was brutally assaulted by these officers under color of...
I do not need to give you, sir. I do not intend to
Excuse me, sir, this is a fire hazard. You're blocking people from getting out of the tunnel there. Yes, ma'am. I'm out. Shit. Shit. You're not now. She doesn't trust him. You don't trust him. She's unbothered. She doesn't trust him. She doesn't trust him. Keep on her. Then don't talk to her.
Wait a minute.
Anybody?
You good? Sir?
I'm off the yellow line. I'm not doing anything wrong. I would
Record it.
appreciate you leaving me alone.
Record it.
against the wall. So you're skateboard
Under what circumstances?
I told you to get out of the way from the yellow line.
And I am. I'm not on the yellow line. Nothing about me is crossing the yellow line.
Does that...
ID, sir?
Are you serious?
Right?
Are you? Oh my God.
You have no right to be asking me about. You're detained. My name is Kyle.
You picked the wrong day to do this.
His name's Officer Kyle.
I can't hear you. What's your name, sir?
This is lunatic.
This is lunatic. This was all on film. Don't worry. This was all on film.
Yeah.
This is all on film.
I'm doing nothing wrong.
Where's your ID?
My ID is in my pocket. I'm not removing it. No.
You don't.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Take your hands off.
She has no right, Kyle. She has no right.
You're being detained by police right now, okay? It's not a request. You're being detained by police. Stand right here.
For what?
For what did he do? Why is he being detained?
He tried to act like the fucking Arizona iced tea was a alcoholic beverage.
Yeah.
Did you saw the whole shit?
I got up because I thought that nigga was filming and I saw you. I'm like, yo, he was filming.
You was making them tight. You making them tight? Wow. Keep recording. Not loose at all.
His name's Officer Kyle.
I can't hear you. What's your name, sir? God, can I watch that video and stuff now?
This is lunatic. This was
Where's
all
your
on
ID, sir?
film. Don't worry. This is all on film.
Yeah.
This is all on film.
I'm doing nothing wrong.
Sorry, do me a favor. Where's your ID?
My ID is in my pocket. I'm not removing it.
Do me a favor. Come over here.
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Take your hands
Kyle,
off.
Kyle.
She has no right. You're being detained by police right now, okay? It's not a request. You're being detained by police. Stand right here.
For what?
Is he under arrest?
Detained by police, okay?
Is he under arrest?
Why is he being detained? No, Kyle.
My name is
Can I get this from him, please?
He did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong.
I'm staying with Kyle.
Yeah, this is why.
Why are you arresting someone for doing nothing wrong? How should we trust you?
For standing in a fucking subway.
If I get raped, how do I trust you people? How do I trust you? I will never call you if I'm in trouble. He did nothing wrong. You are doing this illegally.
Look at this. Look at this. 4 cops. 4 cops.
Being patted down like I do not consent to a search. I do not consent to a search. I do not consent to a search. I do not consent to a search.
You got 5 seconds left.
Put your hands up against the car. Put your hands up against the car now.
I'm touching you, man.
Put your hands up against the car now.
I'm not doing nothing, man.
Sir?
Yo.
Put your hands up against the car. You're under arrest.
Yo, for what? I'm about to go. Yo, you want to drink this?
You're under arrest.
For what? I ain't doing that.
Because I said you trespass.
I'm about to get. Yo. Yo. What? What? For what? For what? For what?
Resist delay obstruct.
For what?
Put your hands behind your back, sir.
For what, though?
Put your hands behind your back now.
For what?
Put your hands behind your back.
This is an Arizona iced tea. I want everybody to see this.
Yo, he can drink the contents.
Half and half Arizona iced tea.
Trespassing, sir.
For what? I'm about to go in the store.
Put your left hand behind
How
your
am I
back.
trespassing?
Put your left hand behind your back.
I got it all on camera. He locked this man up for nothing, fam. For nothing. Nothing. He ain't do nothing. He thought that was the alcohol, so he didn't do nothing wrong. He ain't do nothing wrong. But he didn't do nothing wrong to leave the property. As a civilian, he has a right to purchase something as a customer if he didn't break a crime. You asked him to leave based on the assumption that that was alcohol, but you were wrong. So he didn't commit no crime. Yo, a lawyer gonna eat this up. Who? What did I do?
Who are you? Bring my investigation. Leave the property now.
I tell you what, I'ma leave. I ain't about to go get locked up. I don't live out here. But my lawyer will be eating this up. My lawyer gonna eat this shit up. I'm leaving. You see me leaving. I could talk, but I'm leaving. All right, I could talk, motherfucker. Freedom of speech. Faggot.
But I thought that nigga was like filming the joint.
You thought it was a game, right? Like
yeah, I thought that nigga was filming the joint.
He played the shit out of X, huh? Word of mother. He played the shit out of that man, son.